What's up, Builders Club TV Nation? Dewan Jones here, your professional stay-at-home dad. Back at you once more, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited tonight. We got another phenomenal individual, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, really doesn't need much of an introduction out here in these internet streets. You know how we do it. He's been really doing damage for a long time. Has had a sensational career. He's an entrepreneur, an author, personal coach, mentor, life strategist to millions. He's actually considered the millionaire's mentor. He's done some tremendous things. We get the opportunity tonight, Builders Club TV family, to speak with him and learn a little bit about the man behind the success. I'm going to bring him on camera, but let me get myself on camera really quickly, family, so you can see me live and direct. How we doing, Builders Club TV Nation? We want to thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and sharing the platform. We definitely are excited about the platform getting out there. But again, I got someone sensational with us here tonight. Mr. Robert Hollis is on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Robert, can you hear me okay? I'm doing better than amazing. Excited to have you on. I'm going to get you on camera here in just a second here so the family can see you live and direct. Here you go.
Excellent.
How's it doing? How you doing, brother?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you.
Man, we know it, man. We want to thank you for coming on to the Builders Club TV.
I'm honored.
Awesome. So, you know, we talked a little bit before the show, Robert, and one of the things we like to do here on the Builders Club TV, we want to share with the family the success behind, or the man behind the success. And we feel there's so much to be learned. There's so many nuggets. There's so much gold, you know, when you talk about the path that you chose to get to where you are. And we're here to learn tonight. You know what I mean? Can we learn a little bit and just dig into the past and your success? Can we do that tonight?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I like to say, let's jump into the Builders Club TV time machine. And Robert, take us back. Take us back a little bit and tell us, man, you know, what was life like, okay, for Robert Hollis before he discovered this wonderful industry?
Well, I was just like everybody else. I tell people all the time that, you know, I was really good at being, you know, doing exactly what I was told. and so, you know, I found out early in life that I was dyslexic and I was actually in the special class with learning disabilities.
Wow.
And, you know, you know, I just knew that, you know, okay, I probably am not going to be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'll never forget that uncle of mine. I was actually putting together bicycles and snowmobiles and motorcycles, and he goes, "Robert, you're really good with your hands. You're a good mechanic." And I think that it really makes a huge difference when someone actually, you know, speaks into someone. Words are so powerful.
Right.
And when my uncle said, you know, "Hey, you're a good mechanic," that was my chosen field. You know, so that's what I did. I got, you know, the next thing to do after you get out of high school is, of course, get married and get kids.
Right.
And there I am living paycheck to paycheck.
Wow.
And I was like, you know, I just, I always was a big dreamer, Joanne, and I was always a big dreamer. But, you know, it didn't take me long after having children that, you know, it's like, listen, I guess I'm just going to have a below average car and not a reliable car. And it always made a deal where you just got a little bit in savings and then something would break, you know what I mean? Like automatic, your transmission or something would break. And you know, I just was living paycheck to paycheck, just barely getting by.
Wow.
And what happened to me is I got hurt on the job. To show you how intelligent I am, a van started, you know, slipping on a hoist, and I thought I could stop it. and it slipped off the hoist. It hyperextended my knee, and I remember a doctor. Here was another one where words are powerful. I had a doctor grab my knee, and he said, "Your pants is like a tourniquet." He says, "I just want you to know you'll never be a mechanic again." And I really look back at that point in time, and I could have been, you know, I have pretty strong faith, and you know, my knees hasn't been a problem, but at that point in my time, I'm going, what am I going to do? This is the only thing I know how to do is be a mechanic.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, you know, I tell people I was so bankrupt, I was spiritual, financial, mental, physical, every way bankrupt.
Wow.
And things were really, really awful for me. And I was getting evicted out of my apartment. I could sleep on a park bench.
Wow.
My wife and my son's not going to. And I was like, I just don't know what to do. And I remember getting down on my one knee left and just saying, man, if there is such thing as a God, help me, man. I'll do anything.
Right.
And, when people call out for help and they surrender, which is a big key to my success, always asking for help. Then all of a sudden, a friend that I met only twice, his name was Sean Hennigan. I'm always going to give him credit. That was 32 years ago. And he called me up and he blew it. He totally blew it. He said, hey, Bobby, I'm a mechanic. He said, hey, Bobby, he says, have you heard of Amway? And I said, no. And he says, well, it's not like that and it's legal. Well, I didn't even know what network marketing was or Amway. Right. And so I just said to him, I said, Sean, what are you trying to tell me? And then he did the pitch correctly. He said, I met this guy. I seen his check. It was $62,000. It was still attached to the stub. And he said, he's looking for people that don't need experience, and he's going to teach and train you how to expand this multi-billion-dollar company is in. And I said, I'll come pick you up.
Right?
Yeah. It's so, my life was so awful at that time. If it ended up being illegal, I think I still would have took a shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So being introduced and that being your first experience. So, this story is interesting. You got to the meeting and then what happened?
Well, what was really unique is here's a guy that, hardly has any money whatsoever. And then I see this guy do the presentation and he was good, man. He was sharing some stuff to me that I've never heard of before, like Think and Grow Rich and residual and leverage. And he's talking about if you learn to do something, you can teach others to do it and get a percentage of what they do. And I was just really, really super excited. I was like, this guy knows stuff. And if he makes 62 grand, he knows more than I do. And it was funny afterwards, he came up to me and he said, so what'd you like most about the presentation? I told him, nothing really excited me. Because I don't know, I grew up sort of analytical and skeptical. And it was like, even though I was excited, man, I was freaking super excited about the possibilities. I'm sure not going to lead on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he said to me, how long you had that cast on your leg? And I said, for 6 months now, I've had 2 operations. And he goes, what does workman's comp pay now? And I went, $900 a month. And he goes, wow. He said, how much do you need to make not to lose more stuff by the end of the month? And I said, I need $3,800 like you wouldn't believe. And he said, well, I could show you how to do that, but too bad you don't see an opportunity. He turned around and away.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
I got up on my crutches, man, and I chased him down.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. So basically, man, that was like a punch to the gut, I bet, when he said that.
Yeah, it really was. It was super humbling, and I thank God that he had the skills, you know what I mean, to know that I was probably excited, just didn't want to admit it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin in it, but he was just very attentive to listening to me. He was, looking and figuring out signs of how he could get me to see a bigger picture than I was seeing.
So did you end up joining?
Absolutely. Okay. I when people say, I used to go by Bobby all the time. And it was funny when I signed the application, he did one of these things like you see in timeshares. Right. He held the application up and he said, everyone congratulate Robert Hollis, because, that's my formal name. That's what I put on there. And from that moment on, I was known as Robert Hollis in the business world.
So the experience, this being your first introduction to an industry you probably didn't know much about at that time, right? What was the
I
experience
knew
like?
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew nothing. And he was so good at explaining. He said, Robert, listen, do you think I know what I'm doing? And I said, absolutely. He says, all you got to do is edify and promote me like Sean did. Put people in front of me and I work for you. And I went, wow. And he said, well, listen, let me give you a challenge. He said, my first 30 days, I put 70 people in front of an effective presentation. He says, let's say that you're half of me. And I said, Bill, I'm not half of anybody. And I said, you tell me what to say and what to do, and I'll put butts in the seat. And 32 years ago, that's what I did. I ended up putting 72 people in front of him. And my first 30 days and my first 45 days, I made $10,210.
Wow. That's crazy. So your first experience was pretty good.
Yeah, very good. You know, and I always tell people when I look back, you know, my first year in network marketing made over 258,000, and every year was better. You know, I made over $1 million before the age of 30, and everyone's like, Robert, how'd you do that? And I go, you know, if you're going to learn how to drive a car, you listen to a driving instructor. And if you're going to get into martial arts, you should listen to the martial arts instructor.
Right.
I knew nothing about marketing. And so all I did is ask him what I needed to master first, and that's all I did. And what I see the problem with people today is they have a Frankenstein business.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a little bit from this guy and a little bit from this guy and a little bit from this girl and a little bit from that. I mean, they have a total Frankenstein business, and you need to find someone that's documented and helping other people get a full-time income and leave their job. And you need to do what they do and nothing else. In mixed martial arts, you don't spend one day at jiu-jitsu and another day at karate and another day at taekwondo. And in this profession, it's just bizarre to me with marketing. You know, everyone's coming up with some some new shortcut. And it's like you just can't beat connecting with another human being, giving some reciprocity, you know what I mean? Getting a connection and doing that where people will ask you what you do instead of just, you know, copy and pasting a link. It's like I really think the whole social media thing is becoming very desensitized.
Okay, talk about that, because I think you're hitting on something there.
Yeah, it's like I think it's Maya Angelou that said, you know, no one will ever remember what you said, nor will they know what you taught them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And so, you know, just like I said with the words of a few individuals either giving me a bad word, like you'll never be a mechanic again, to another person, including Bill, said, listen, Robert, you can do this, no problem. And I said, yes, sir. And you know, what's very unique this day is people are seeking for a way to supplement their income or even replace their income. Right. But no one ever really takes the time to connect with people. One of the biggest compliments I get all the time, I leave voice audios on Facebook Messenger, and people are just freaking shocked that I'm actually going to reach out to them. I know when you reached out to me, it didn't take me long to respond. Yeah. And so the way I deal with people on social media is I'm constantly giving. You know, I learned years ago, you know, the person that gives the most makes the most. So, and so, you know, I'm constantly giving my training away and plugging people into my free Facebook, you know, groups, and all my training and all the stuff that I do, you know, other than my high-end inner circle stuff, is all free. I just give it away. And I'm saying, well, find out what everybody else is doing and do the exact opposite. I'd rather teach people how to do the business before they make a decision. What's funny is when I give them all that free training, then that's called the law of reciprocity. And now all of a sudden they're going, my God, if he would be this generous to me and give me all this wisdom and knowledge and teaching without me being involved in them, I wonder what the heck it would be like being sponsored by him.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And Builders Club TV family, I hope you guys are taking notes here and listening and, really getting the gold here. Make sure you like this video and share it because there's some powerful information, of course, being shared here. So, Robert, you touched on social media a little bit. Do you feel like social media people are, basically are having that fast food mentality, not taking the time to really connect with people, but looking for what people are going to engage with and kind of just putting information out there, kind of machine gun marketing, hitting everything that's a moving target?
Yeah, what I think that people do is, here's the key, is people just don't want to feel anymore. So they're too analytical, they're overthinkers. When you try to teach people how to be successful, they're like, well, what about, and what if. Listen, You need to stop thinking and you got to learn to connect. So I want your audience to sort of think that, what if we went all and sort of been a wedding crasher? Maybe DeJohn knows a wedding we all could go to, right? Mm-hmm. And we all go to this wedding reception. There's only going to be a couple of group of people. One, they're interacting with everyone there and they're like tearing up the dance floor. And then you got, what is it, like that show you seen, Table 13? You got a bunch of people sitting around being antisocial. And so, people that take the time to connect, to do a nice, sincere compliment, to really take the time to look at a person's profile and find something that might be encouraging on their wall and actually make a heartfelt statement.
Right.
I tell people I don't like a lot of stuff, but I heart up a bunch of stuff.
Right. Let me ask you this. Do you think that, people are so hungry and so laser focused on getting a check, making the money, that they really don't take time to understand what you're saying, the importance of making the connection? And if that's true, how does an individual get rid of that selfish type of mode and focus on, hey, I'm here to connect, and let me just not do it for the money. Let me do it for the passion and connect.
Yeah, well, you brought up a really, really great point, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're focused on the wrong thing. The people that make the most money and are most fulfilled and happy in life are the connectors. So the thing I was taught by a billionaire, Roger Penske, is if you look at 98% of America or 99.9% of the world, why don't you just find out what all those people are doing and don't do that? Don't do that. So everyone else, and the phrase that he used to use all the time is, how would you feel if, and how would you act if? It blows me away that if anyone that was listening to this all of a sudden seen a message and they clicked on the message and it looked like a chapter of a book with a bunch of links in it, how would you feel? Secondly, how would you act? Would you act by deleting and blocking the person? Well, then I would suggest don't do that.
Exactly, yeah.
On the other hand, all of us have been intrigued by someone that's taken the time, right?
Right.
So I've actually had some people post on my deal and they said, Robert, I looked at your profile and we have a lot of people in common that we like. Mm-hmm. And you really look like a family man. I'd like to get to know you better. And I'm like, all right, I'm still a little skeptical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then the person asked me a question like, well, DeJohn, out of all the books that you read, what one do you think had the biggest impact on you? And you're like, wow. Well, for me, it was Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And they're going, really? Yeah. In fact, I have the link to it and the audios. Just ask me for it. I'll give it to you for free. The book was written in 1910, so it's over 100 years old. Here it is. And then all of a sudden I feel a reciprocity of a connection,
Right.
where I might go, oh, since you brought that up, what's your favorite book?
Mm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
And again, if we went back to that reception,
mhm.
if someone introduced me to you, one of my first things might be to you is like, how do you know the bride or the groom?
Mm.
Are you from here? What do you do for work? If I'm trying to get to know you, that's what I would do.
Right.
I wouldn't walk up and someone says, hey, everybody, I'd like you to meet, the John, right? And I go, hey, can you go to my link?
Hey, man, that's what you're saying out there. In other words, you're saying, man, just be a human being.
Not only be a human being, but I just think there's so many people in the world that need to have a connection. So you hear all this stuff about social media, and no one ever takes the time to connect. And when I connect with people and give away free stuff, it's like the number one thing they say is, you don't even know me and you gave me all this nice stuff. And I'm going, listen, I want people to succeed. I believe in abundance. There's enough for everyone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, well, do you think I could use your training and the opportunity that I'm with? I go, absolutely. And it's funny how if you just are willing to try to connect and help people instead of, pitch them, and if they're not at the right place, you're gone. So that whole mentality of some will, some won't, so what next? I believe that had a time, but it's not anymore.
Some people may wrestle with that, but I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Well, if I understand marketing correctly, which, I've made over 53 million in commissions, so I think I do.
You hear that, Builders Club TV family?
And I've helped 5 people make over $1 million in a year, and 9 of them own their own marketing companies. So
wow.
I got a good touch on this, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so in my goal, like if you look at basketball right now, one really good player can make a huge difference in your team.
Right.
So I'm not looking for a bunch of, people that are contemplating to consider, to evaluate, they don't know what they want in their life and they're sure not going to do anything to get it. I'm seriously looking for people like you.
Right.
And so I'd rather build a rapport with people and then say, oh, by the way, I was wondering if you could help me out. They go, sure, what if I can. Who's the most motivated person you know? Who's somebody that's always wearing the nicest clothes? They're really competitive. They got a great work ethic. They got a great attitude. Who do you know that like that? And they go, why? And I'm going, I'm looking for stars, man. And they're going, well, what's this all about? And then I go, why, are you interested?
Powerful. You can see why, right? Builders Club TV family. Absolutely. Wow. We, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to you.
Sure.
Because, it seems like you like to have a lot of fun. And of course you're having fun these days, having the success that you've been able to create. How do you get down, Robert? How do you, have fun with life? And how do you take a load off when you're not engaged in the business? How do you enjoy success?
Great question. I have 3 boys, my oldest being 37, youngest is 26, 2 grandchild, Ryder and Olive from my oldest son. And I really, just love relaxing. I love traveling. There's not too many places I haven't been yet. And I always take my family with me. And I'm very, very blessed that, the last trip I took with my family, we just, took the jet to Bahamas and
the jet.
Yeah, I don't own one yet, but I definitely have the money to lease it for sure.
Hey man, nothing wrong with that at all, my brother.
Yeah, so I like going out and I believe life is all about experiences. I tell people that, when my time is no longer going to be on this planet. I just want to have these emotional experiences that just run through my mind and just put this smile on my face as I go to meet my maker.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Robert, will you give out your social media and your website? That way the family can get a hold. As you can see, Builders Club TV family, there's a lot of wealth. This individual here has a lot of wealth, and we could pick your brain all night, Robert. Can you go ahead and give your social media? Give out your social media.
Yeah, they just have to go to roberthollis.com. That's HOLLIS.com. And I got a little funny joke that I tell people all the time is when they first don't hear of me, I said, well, do me a favor, just go to Google and put in Robert Hollis. Oh,
yeah.
And it's like, I've been doing this for 32 years, and people also will get a copy of my best-selling book, How Is That Working? Along with, I think we give away the audios with that too. Okay. And so, I love serving. The way to greatness is the service of many, and that's why I love doing what I do.
Absolutely. What are you cooking up nowadays, Robert?
Well, what I'm cooking up now, I in the last 16 months, been a funny thing for me. My wife is now an empty nester, and so she came to me basically saying that she wanted to raise money for animal shelters and volunteer for, to do stuff with animals. And so she asked me to pick her out a network marketing company. And so I said, listen, you're not looking for a company or a comp plan or a product. You're looking for a mentor. I said, if you can find someone that's knocking down some serious income and they're really, really, highlighting their people on their Facebook profile, people hitting rank advances, getting new cars, getting new homes, going on vacation, great lifestyle. I said, find that. And my wife turned around and said, well, listen, smart Alec, go find her for me. And I found her a person, and my wife asked me to help her. So to show you that I still got game, it took me 16 months to make her $732,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's got 20,000 customers and affiliates underneath her in 16 months. And I think I've helped 123 people hit the level of 5K or higher.
Wow.
So yeah, now my sons that used to run my brand with me, roberthollis.com, now they don't want their mom making more money than them. So now they just recently joined with my mom, and I'm slow but sure. I mean, my wife, and they're slow but sure pulling me back in the network marketing game. I was sort of out of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I was sort of out of the game for a while.
Oh wow! So you were actually just inactive, just retired.
Yeah, I was just building my brand. My brand does extremely well, and I get to speak all over. And I really, honestly, for those of you that are listening in this audience, if you've had companies that have failed you, I look at them like relationships, and I tell people the first two girlfriends that I met, for whatever reason, didn't want anything to do with me. And yeah, I was sort of heartbroken and thought I didn't really have anything to offer, but thank God I didn't give up, because the wife I have now I've been with for 35 years and we have an incredible family. So the point I'm making is that I've been in 19 different network marketing companies. And like Mark Cuban says, you only need one of them to work. And I've been blessed to really hit the top position and be the number one money earner in 7 different companies. And so,
wow.
so it's, but companies make stupid decisions. There's a bunch of employees that showed up at Toys R Us recently, and the doors were chained. And Kodak is really not a big name anymore.
Right.
And, Lehman Brothers, I remember, you might not be as old as I am, but I remember seeing everybody show up on a Sunday, putting all their personal belongings in a box, when they shut Lehman Brothers down. And, owners of companies are human beings. They're not perfect. And sometimes they make stupid mistakes, and they're not, they don't know how to reinvent themselves fast enough. And so I was taught by my mentor that, it's easier to catch a trend and get involved with a company that has momentum instead of creating momentum. And if you watch athletes, professional athletes, they're amazing at this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everybody looks at LeBron James and, he has a number of rings because he didn't stay in one place too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, when you find an industry and a company that's really growing, really growing, and they all say they're the number one fastest growing company,
Right.
but, look for the ones that are written up in Forbes or Fortune magazine or Inc. magazine. And it wasn't 3 years ago, it was last year.
Right. Well, Robert, we certainly appreciate you sharing that wisdom with us, man. We definitely appreciate you having you on the show. We definitely got to have you back. We have a few other series that we're going to debut soon. One being the Builders Club TV live chat series, Robert. That's where we'll go live at that point, and we'll have the audience ask questions, get a chance to pick your brain a little bit. They now become the interviewer instead of myself. And then awesome. I think we're excited to have you on for the Builders Club TV Day in the Life. That's where we turn on the camera, and it's about inspiration, motivation, and belief. But you show whatever you want to show us, but it's about your lifestyle. It's about how you enjoy success, but also we get an opportunity to hear some more of those golden nuggets that you have to share that are so valuable. But we definitely appreciate having you on once again, and we look forward to having you back, man.
Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to doing that, and just kudos to you. Because John, you're a person that's not scared, and you reached out to me. That just shows me the kind of leader you are and the kind of individual you are, wanting to serve your viewers and your team. So this wouldn't happen if you didn't reach out to me. And I just want every one of you to know that if no one's giving you permission to succeed in life, let us be the first to give it to you. My mentors gave it to me. They told me I could do it. I know you can do it. Every one of you learned to drive a car because you learned from someone that knows how to drive. Find the right coaches, the right mentors. You deserve it. I always like saying this statement too. For those of you that may or may not have children, if your child really wanted to do something, I pray to God that you have the right money and the wisdom to find the right coaches to allow your children to be the best.
Wow, that's good stuff. That's powerful, man. Oh man, I wish we had another hour to sit here and talk to you, man. We're definitely gonna have you back. There's so much to be learned. We definitely appreciate the love and having you on the show. Man, exciting, man. Builders Club TV family, Robert Hollis, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
God bless.